Elementary educators, picture this. You are 19 years in education. You ran a whole school, and now you're going back into the classroom to help a friend out. You get into the classroom and you have all these ideas and you're so excited to be up there, to be back teaching. And every single day, it took every ounce of your mental capacity to get out of the car and to go into that building. That story was obviously about me. And I was in a situation where I had nobody to turn to. All of these behaviors were happening in my classroom, and I had a reputation for being the strong, firm classroom management teacher. You had a student, you didn't know what to do with them, you put them in my classroom. And here I was going, oh my goodness, what do I do? I did not know. Tears would flow almost every single day. I would go and talk to other teachers and try and get ideas and suggestions from the counselors. Nothing was working. And I know in my heart of hearts, there are many teachers in classrooms feeling that same way. Student behavior has become a huge topic in education that we need to start embracing, not just as professionals, but we need to start having these conversations with our students. You probably have had experiences in your building where it was possibly a student, violating a teacher in some way, whether it's verbally or physically. And never before in our history has this become almost an everyday occurrence, but yet here we are. So what do? I hit rock bottom. I questioned if I even should have become a teacher. And I said, there are people who need this extra support just as much as I did. So I had this idea to create student behavior management cards. Not only can they be used with yourself and colleagues to kind of mentor each other, but they're designed so you can read the story to your students and then have the conversations, right? Role play the story with your students. Students love role playing. Role play the story with your students and then have the conversations. What would you do? I know, you're probably thinking, oh, Lauren, this is another thing to do. I broke it down and I did as much of the work for you as I possibly could. Your biggest piece to this puzzle is going to be dedicating yourself to having the conversations daily and making that time. It could be during morning meeting time. It could be maybe you do afternoon classroom check-in. Maybe that last couple minutes before the end of the day when you're not exactly sure what to do with the kids, you pop the student scenario up on the board and you have the conversation. My best suggestion is to choose a time where you're not in the heat of the moment, not in the heat of you just experienced, an episode or a scenario in your classroom. That's probably not the best time to bust these cards out, right? You want to do it on a daily basis when your class is calm and you have their attention, because obviously you want them to be engaged and listening, but you also want them to be processing, right? So what I did was I gave you the scenario, the little story, and then I went a step further and gave you discussion questions so you can have those conversations very easily. You don't have to think of the questions. They're already set up for you. Get as many kiddos as you want to answer, and it's probably going to depend on time, but take their ideas, take their thoughts, and give them feedback. That was a great idea. I never thought about that. It's going to truly build your classroom community. And then I know where I was when I was teaching in the school and I felt like I had no support. I went even a step further. I gave you teacher suggestions. So that way, if you don't know what to do when a student walks out of the classroom, you're going to have a starting point. Here are teacher suggestions on what you would do. I tried to cover as many scenarios as I could possibly think of. I went through different social media pages and pulled scenarios that I was reading about. Okay, let's talk about this and see how we would handle it. And then some behaviors you're going to probably be like, oh, those were repeated. But I do believe in the power of repetition and them hearing something more than once, right? So it might be the same situation, but the scenario's, a little bit different. The scene, shall we say, is a little bit different. So I hope you love these cards as much as I do. I also am giving you affirmation cards to go with these. If you are not doing affirmations with your students, please, 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 please start doing affirmations with your students. There's 52 of them, one a week. Read it, write it, say it multiple times during the day. That's why I did 52, so you can switch it up every week. And talk to your kids about that. Have that be a discussion. What does this mean? If you were to say, I believe in you, and the students say, I believe in me, what does that mean when we say I believe that? Talk about how our words and our thoughts, they have power, they have energy. And we've gotten so far into our academics, we've gotten so far away from teaching them the importance of the things that they think and the words that they say. So let's take them back to the basics. Do with this in a simple format, classroom meeting time, add this in. Hopefully, you do this on a daily basis. It becomes part of your routine. And I'm telling you, you are going to see a growth in your community, and you're going to hopefully foster a love of learning in these kiddos and a love of going to school in these kiddos like you haven't seen in a long time. If you need anything from me, if you have ideas, suggestions, questions, feel free to contact me. You can head to my website, lessonplantoolbox.com. Contact me there if you want. There's just a little contact tab, help yourself. Or, sorry about that. Or I also created a community for primary educators. Primary educators have my heart. You set the foundation for learning, and I cannot even tell you how much I value the hard work that you do. I cannot tell you how many podcasters I listen to who say primary teachers are are the hardest working teachers in education, because you do not get a break, right? But once you get these behaviors under control, you're going to find yourself going, wow, this is pretty awesome. So take that, run with it. I forgot to tell you, I created a community for primary educators. It's called the Lesson Plan Toolbox Community. And we gather a couple times throughout the month. You kind of come and go as you please, as you need. And there is no stress, no pressure. Everything is recorded. So if you miss something, if you can't attend a meeting or whatever, we send out a recording. You get professional development hours for it if they're accepted locally, but I do send you a certificate for attendance. We do co-working sessions a couple times a month. We do professional development where we talk about student behavior and you get strategies once a month. We do roundtable discussions where you just come, share, say what's on your mind, just sit back and listen. They're pretty cool. It's kind of like a mastermind. And then there's questions and answers, right? If you have questions for me, it's kind of like an office hours. Pop on, ask your question. If I don't know the answer, I have so many teacher friends. I am more than happy to do some digging for you. So this is just a resource to help lead and guide you. I hope you love it as much as I fell in love with it. I want you to just have somebody in your corner and know you have someplace to go. That's the whole point of all of this. So thank you so much for what you do for our children every single day. And just know that I have no words for the hard work you are doing. You are incredible teachers, and I'm so grateful that you found me, and these cards will hopefully make a huge difference in your classroom. Okay, we will talk to you soon, and thanks for stopping by.